Aglaia has taken an interest in the polyhedron. She says that it is too unusual to exist, yet there it stands, no mere imaginary construct. How can she dismiss it so easily? What with all the children living inside? Only Peter Stammeton, the architect of the tower, will have the answer to the puzzle. And as per usual, I've given myself a little bit of sleepy-do homework. Alright. Not a lot, though. It's not so bad. Probably just like a couple hours of sleep or something. I have 96 of those things, Jesus. Take a couple of those, sleep for a couple hours. Maybe put those away so they don't take up a slot. That exhaustion captured right out when I took those. Is that normal? Maybe take another one. I mean, exhaustion, it gets spiked by exhaustion, right? I think I just lost health because I increased my exhaustion by taking sleeping meds. I'll go for 3 hours. That's probably about okay. One more hour. There we go. Now we're all set, and my hunger's all fucked. Alright, let's put you guys away. You guys are important, so we'll hold on to you little fucks. Okay. This is a busy inventory. Okay, that... make up your mind, Belle. I already heard you last time, and you keep going off. Oh, I just put the egg in there. Forgot that I was in that screen. Click. I have eaten the egg, and my hunger is quenched. Instantly. Via magic. Okie dokie. How are letters doing? Day 9. Evening from the Inquisitor. I think I read this already. Yeah. Nothing has come in today yet. Alright. Man. Women and their headaches, am I right? Are we in a plague zone? Shit. Ah. My home is okay for once. It's so consistently not okay. Alright, so one of my goals is to meet up with Peter Stammeton, which we haven't talked to since the beginning of the game, for this exact topic, more or less. Was it this topic? It wasn't this topic, was it? No. It was almost a coincidence. Our housemate just had an existing relationship with the Stammeton brothers, and I think they sent me on a side quest to talk to them that wasn't even that necessarily, but it was, you know, it was there. It existed. Before I leave, I'll talk to the Canes. Partly out of habit, since they haven't been so consistent about being involved, giving me important stuff lately, but also because they keep teasing this idea they're gonna, like, do a crazy ritual and disappear and all die and bring somebody back or whatever the hell over the next few days. So I gotta see how that pans out. It's interesting. I think about the length of this game, and pretty much exclusively the reasons why... Okay, hang on a second, I need to fix this. Please stop doing that. I was noticing that my mouse was free-floating. Is it gone now? Okay, cool. My mouse was not locked to the screen, and I was like, stop, no, be in the video game, please. Don't wander around on my other screen and make weird misclicks where I, like, click the stop recording button in the middle of the session or something, which has happened before when the mouse is not locked. It's dangerous. Or I, like, accidentally launch something. As far as personal experience goes, I'm really not fazed by how long this game is. I could just hang out, hear the addictive music, and go about my routine on 3 separate campaigns for a very long time and not really be fazed by that. If it was purely my free time, it's only the Let's Play part of me that gets insecure about how long this game is. The fact that I'm only doing 1 of 3 campaigns so far, I'm just like, oh my god. That'll be a while. There might be more editing involved in the future campaigns, just to try to get through it a little faster. Partly because I feel like I'm gonna be playing this game for the rest of goddamn time and space, as far as, like, the episodic structure goes, but also because, There's the sequel's coming out, and I might play that one too. And I'm like, oh my god,
I'm too old.
So many episodes.
Nothing can harm me anymore.
What do you want? I don't recognize you, Judge. You've changed. On one hand, I totally want to cover all 3 campaigns of this game and the sequel and just go all in, because I do like them. But on the other hand, I'm also like, oh, the opportunity cost. Like, it's a good thing I've set up a dedicated, like Western / CRPG slot. But even then, there's the opportunity cost of the other games I could be playing. Like, the longer I spend on these 2 Pathologic games, the longer I don't play Pillars of Eternity or Pillars of Eternity 2, or, Vampire the Masquerade, or a bunch of other ones that I have set up.
If we conquer our passions,
maybe Arx Fatalis. I have a list somewhere. My consciousness hasn't completely returned to me yet. I can hardly imagine how much must have changed here since then. Oh. So is Victor already dead? Is that already the brother that died before we got here that I've forgotten the name of because I've never met him? What's going on with you? This is not how you normally talk. Yep. It's going on. Shit is going down around here, but I don't currently have anything to do with them. Maybe I'll get a midday message from them, giving... Oh wait, no, it's 7 o'clock. Okay. I was like, oh no, I'm never gonna make it in time. But I think it's 7 o'clock for the play. Oh shit. The morning went faster than I meant for it to. I did sleep more than I meant to also, though. And also maybe goofed up some math. And I've been doing a little gathering, which I think every 5 minutes is an hour in this game, if you're not pausing.
Weird. What happened in the bone steak lot? It's important.
One blow after another. Clara is becoming a mistress of the earth, a dreadful one, too. She's ruthless and cruel. Fanatics believe her, and she'd happily burn us all at stakes. I can feel this horrible heat in my very skin. Who's inflicting blows on whom? The changeling is robbing us of the most precious thing. She's dousing Peter's genius. She's tempting him, sowing the destructive seeds of doubt in his weakened soul. Her rhetoric can easily drive him mad. How do you know about that? He has been trying for a long time now. He sent me a crazy verse letter, a love letter. I won't show you. He says he's breaking down. He cannot stand it anymore. But I cannot help him either. The changeling gnaws at him like a worm. This is all Aglaya's doing. She has sent her. What is she saying to him? Now he believes he is to blame for everything. She accused him of taking a miracle captive, not letting go of that which is supposed to have faded, tying a bird that was supposed to fly off, forcing himself on the guest that cannot live here any longer. Is that not true? I fear Peter will die today. If that happens, a part of the world will peter out with him. Do you just make a pun on this guy's poor name? An everlasting, irreparable loss. There has never been and will never be an architect like him. How can I make him change his mind? Tell him that I am turning into a mistress. Tell him I can feel the scarlet lava. Tell him I am ready to accept it into my womb. Tell him my mother is looking at me now. I shall become her. I shall overcome her. I shall build what he had conceived. That is why I'll preserve the tower. Tell him I feel he's with Andre now. I will. I was going to visit Andre anyway.
There's more life in me that can be lived.
Actually, there was a reason for you to come see me today. For I am a chrysalis. I know. And you seem to be looking through me, am I right? Odd dialogue there. Odd. I don't super remember for sure necessarily, but I think I confirmed at some point that, like, every 5 minutes or something in real life is 5 minutes, is 1 hour in the game, which means a day is not long. And yet it's also often, like, 2 to 6 hours long at times. Not 6, maybe. Like 2 to 4 hours, I would say, is often what actually happens in practice. And it's because the game... it's so much time is spent with, like, paused time via merchant and all the dialogue and looking at your meters. Like, almost everything pauses time except opening your inventory, I believe. It leads to a situation... It leads to a situation where the passage of time is, hard to track, and makes it very easy for you to lose track of how quickly it's moving. That part reminds me of Darkwood a fair bit, because that was a constant fear in Darkwood, was how fast is time, or how fast is time passing or not passing, was a constant scare in that game, and you had to wear a watch to even know what time it was, otherwise you would just get surprised. The game is perfectly happy to trick you about what time it was, or... Oh, that was close. Darkwood was a really cool game. I still have my gripes about how its campaign works versus its survival elements. I don't know, I think I've been finding that... No, you can't be another one. Fuck me. I'm about to die of fire, too. Okay, what the fuck? Fuck off, game. Jesus. Was that 2 angels? What a douchey move, game. So to recap, that was 2 angels, a pyro guy, a plague victim, and a roaming cloud to get me while I was standing still for the angels.
My orders were to destroy every building in this town and then to shoot everyone who survives the bombardment. The military only comes when there's nothing to fix anymore. I'm keen on breaking that habit, though. I know that the people that can change the course of the catastrophe have been working here for some time. We will only destroy the thing pointed at by a healer who can argue in favor of taking such action.
How about not shooting at all?
If we don't shoot anything at all, the consequences will be devastating. You wanted freedom of choice. So choose a massive shelling or a single pinpoint strike. One way or another, we'll put an end to this circus.
Was that supposed to be a statue? He was, like, impossibly huge. Hopefully I can find a place to sell these guns. Increasing immunity. There we go. That wasn't even really a health break. My health didn't even take a hit, did it? No, not really. And exhaustion didn't either? Those are really good immunity tablets. Wow. Getting a little low on food. I've got a handful of these hunks of meat, and a lot of the other stuff is all nuts for trading.
When we do not find peace of mind in ourselves, it is useless to seek it elsewhere.
You have my sincerest gratitude for finding an opportunity to pay a visit to a poor actor. But tell me, what do you make of the things you've witnessed recently? What is your impression? I'm referring to the few hours that we haven't seen each other. You're asking as though you owned the situation. I find it disturbing. Ah, I apologize. A nasty stage habit. Of course, I wouldn't, in my wildest dreams, dare. I wouldn't even think about producing such a cheap jack, and, if I may, tasteless play. So I had nothing to do with it. And let us forget the jests on the subject. Why did you want to see me? To confirm your sharpest observation, actually. I've got competition now, as you can see. The lowest kind of it, I suppose. I am no tragedian myself. I'm rather a comedian. But this is a most grotesque and insane parody. And who's the competition? Some mob is trying to act out I'm not sure what to call it. It's not really a performance. Well, they're trying to act out a living image of something by the bone stake. Although I'm not sure living is the best word. The centerpiece is a dying creature, after all. How was that competition? Everybody started to talk about it, interpreting and reinterpreting the act. Just like they do with our very own mask act here. The prophetic excitement is growing by the hour, hand in hand with the anger. Anger? What are they angry about? I don't know. I only have the executor's sardonic reports at the moment. I wouldn't have bothered you with this if not for the nasty smell coming from the detestable farce. Because, honestly, who would really believe that it was my epigenes? God damn it. Epigenes' doing. The mob thinks it's a heavenly portent, no less. Consider my curiosity piqued. I'll have to look when I get a chance.
Changeling is the most sincere of them all. Some of them she saves, others condemns to death. At least she knows what she wants.
There's no fate, Bachelor, I say, simply because we are not worthy of having any. You're a funny man. He's like the only person that's smiling in like the entire video game, basically, that I can think of. God damn, that was a bad encounter earlier. The number of angels that happened. It's why we have the meds, thankfully. But overall, I find that this game handles its survival mechanics in concert with its story better than Darkwood, which I felt was two different games mashed together. Like, I think Darkwood's great, but the experience of just kind of exploring and trying to survive and get resources and survive each night was way more interesting. Like that all worked really well, but then I had this weird thing where the actual story, the actual progression through the game was actually a relatively brief series of encounters you just had where you talked to certain people or interacted with certain things and then moved on to the next zone over and over again. And like watching a speedrun of that game is really enlightening, because you can just watch somebody beat the entire game in 20 minutes because they just run to the next objective over and over again, and the survival elements of the game really don't account for the fact that you can just go to the next objective constantly. Particularly fascinating was the fact that when it happened, should I go get my map first? It's the morning. I think what was particularly fascinating about it was that the person I was watching in particular didn't even make the later bases. They rushed all of the objectives of the entire game in like one day, and then they intentionally, I think they might have intentionally died or something like that, so they would warp back to the original base, so that they can then continue with the story after that previous part of the ending. And I'm like, what in the world? Whereas this game is basically, it's just constantly assaulting you with stuff, and you're gonna need resources to survive, and basically you are just trying to race. Like, this game's built around the idea of what it seems like Darkwood wanted you to do, which is like you're just racing from objective to objective as quickly as you can, trying not to run out of time and trying not to run out of resources and die and stuff like that. Like, that's how I play this game constantly. But unlike in this game in particular, it feels like that's actually the designed plan. It's hard not to feel a little ripped off when the game decides, no, stupid Bachelor, you're going to do the really stupid attack that sucks. And they're going to do the attacks that are good. I'm like, no, stop. Because the stab is so much better than the swipe. By, like, so far. The stab is the only move I ever want to do, because it's just twice as fast at attacking. And I don't really have any reason to think that it actually does less damage or anything, so I have no particular reason to be like, oh no. Yeah, the one thing is, I look at my giant pile of Western RPGs I want to get to one day, and just the endlessness of it is terrifying. I'm like, oh no. And almost every one of those games will take like 3 months or more to beat. So, realistically, you're talking about probably playing 2 or 3 or 4 per year, maybe? And the list is very long. I'm like, okay, we have Fallout 1 and 2, Knights of the Old Republic 1 and 2. I sometimes consider the idea of doing an Old Republic playthrough also. It's just the fact that you have to do MMO combat and stuff like that is really a bummer. But I do like the idea of playing the Old Republic also. Then we have Vampire the Masquerade and Arx Fatalis, and hell, I even want to go back and play the Temple of Elemental Evil, because it was the first CRPG I ever bought, and I didn't understand what a CRPG was, so it like destroyed me, and I hated it, and I didn't understand how to even have fun with it, so I want to go back to it as an adult and be like, haha, I've done it.
I am crushed by these walls.
An unexpected visit. Have you come for the map? Yep. I'll give it to you for free, but I'm almost completely out of cash these days, and the scouts require pay. You would give it to me for free. If I give them the money today, that will guarantee that we still have a map tomorrow. By the way, the patterns of infection have been pretty whimsical recently. That's a lot of red. Wow, the entire left side of the map is clear of all negatives. God damn. I'm currently encased in plague on all sides. There's no safe, smart route to get around it. I say that, but it's kind of not true. The correct answer is to go this way, because this is the factory district, and it's really a lot easier to avoid plague in the factory district because it's so spaced out. You're not confined to all these alleyways you're walking through otherwise. In the factory area, it's just non-stop open fields, occasional things in the way. No, 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 no. God damn it. I knew I was in trouble. Damn it. How far back was that? I knew I was in trouble because I was stuck in like a hallway-shaped environment, and he was in his throwing animation. I'm like, fuck. If I run perfectly perpendicular, I can often escape the attack, but I didn't have perpendicular movement, and I had to run backwards to get around the corner. Where the fuck am I? Oh. Jeez. Okay. Yep. Do you like rifles, boy? I'll make 10 grand on some rifles. Why not? Grab a few things. There we go. That's too much inventory space for rifles. Where do I get the best price for rifles in the game? No idea. I just know that the thief is not a good person to trade things to. Coffee. Interesting face you're making there. Not totally sure what to make of that. Ooh, earrings. Earrings for only 141. That's cheap. I figure I'll get the really cheap stuff, right? That stuff can be traded for good things. Y'all don't know the value of what you got on you. Although I haven't really been seeing children today, so not the best case study, example for my own self, whatever. Really the repeating character models get a little distracting, right? When they're named characters.
All which is counterfeit displeases us with the very things which charm us in the original. Yeah.
Oh, just the person I wanted to see. We've had quite an adventure here. My knife loves strife. It has a gripe with the type filled with tripe. What the fuck is wrong with you, Dr. Seuss? So tell me, what would be best? Should I drag my little brother over here to always have him by my side, or rather move to his place? Aren't you like a block away? Is it that it's that big of a deal? That's grief ease, isn't it? You're talking just like him. The type filled with what? How did you put it? I was actually quoting grief. He loves this kind of folk say. Claims it attracts luck to weapons and averts malicious spells. Taking lives is disturbing, you know. Anyone who dares to do that will get their just desserts. I know that from experience. What's up with Peter? Andre, where is he? He's been getting uncanny ideas. He wanted to pay visits to all his early works. I mean the ugly ruins, the stairways to heaven that are scattered around the town. He said he needed to find the ideal place for something, and I have no idea what he has in mind. Alright, what about the adventure? He broke loose and ran outside, wild and disoriented. Fell across some soldiers. I've been told that he had been preparing to leave his humble abode beforehand. Someone's heard the ruckus. Thankfully, I got there in time. He managed to provoke the Royal Riflemen somehow, so they started clubbing him. And then, well, you know me. How many? 3 flamethrower-wielding freaks and an officer. Life doesn't teach you anything. What are you going to do? What's wrong with you? I'll just deal with everything that needs to be dealt with, and that's it. I'm never leaving him again. All our lives we've been persecuted for being extraordinary. As soon as a genius sets foot out of his house, he's immediately struck by lightning. You must know that. We're birds of a feather, you and us. Yes, this is true. I could have easily been in your shoes.
How's my brother? Any news on him?
I'll never leave my little brother again. I'll stay right by his side and won't let anyone come close to... at least closer than my knife can fly. Don't mess it up once again, Andre. Keep your knife in your boot and your dumb head cool. That's not good. I can still visit his place, but it sounds like he's not going to be there. It sounds like he's doing a tour of the area. Ah! Ooh, boy. He's most certainly... Huh? Friend? Nice safe time to take a drink half the time, since generally I can't move anyway. So far, when something else comes at me during those, I've just been sort of taking the hit. May not be the best may not be the smartest move. Excuse me. Cloud. Here we go. I may as well visit his office, but it sounds like he's gone. Maybe the guys outside will give me a clue too. Although it sounds like he was trying to do a tour of all of the other Stairway to Heaven locations, which I didn't even realize. I probably should have realized that those were his. It makes sense. Not really in a hurry to buy anything from you. Okay. Hi. Name. Let's establish your identity first. I am Bachelor Dankovsky, an authorized representative of the Inquisitor, head of the sanitary staff. Your company commander should have informed you. Right. So what are you here for? I'm here on assignment from General Block. Report the situation. Our immediate commanding officer is Captain Longin, commander of the 15th Company. He's in charge of investigating the attack on the Flamethrower Corps' sanitary patrol. Any more questions? You're telling me that General Block has no authority over you. He'll be excited to find out. We're going to find the offender sooner or later anyway. We already have tactical data suggesting that one of the offenders is hiding in the ruined building in the central part of town and is presenting armed resistance. I suggest you cooperate in his arrest, or else. He'll come back here soon. Wait, and he'll be here. Hopefully that keeps them staying still for a little bit. They decided to get rid of Peter after all. What does Andre have to say about the matter? I'd like to hear him boast now about how he cares for his emotionally fragile sibling. I must find Peter before he does anything reckless, like burning any evidence of his work. He must be hiding somewhere in town, but where? I could try talking to Andre again in case there is updated dialogue now that I've been here, but it seems like he already knew about it. Andre said that Peter was trying to go to the various Stairway to Heavens. Where were those located? I think that's one of them? Yeah. How many of them are there? That's one of them, I think. Just the strange, fenced off pieces of town. Are they all in the middle of the map? They might be. No, like, stop that.